Let's talk about how to use a circular saw. I'm on a mission to teach you that power tools do not have to be scary and you can totally build cool shit for yourself and your home. The circular saw is probably my favorite tool, and this is the number one tool that I recommend you start with if you're wanting to get into DIY and or woodworking. I think that the circular saw is an incredibly versatile tool. You can do a lot of things with it, but it's still at the lower end of the price range when it comes to big tools like table saws, miter saws, things like that. So first, let's break down what the circular saw actually is. This is what it looks like. This is DeWalt and this is a Ryobi circular saw. The blade is right here. This is the blade guard. This goes up and down, and when you are cutting your wood, it will naturally move up, but you want to avoid getting your hands anywhere near this, obviously. One of the things that I love about circular saws is that you can use them to make several different types of cuts. So you can cut a board long way, like ripping down a sheet of plywood. You can make cross cuts or cutting across a board, and you can also make mitered and beveled cuts. And I can actually change the angle that this circular saw blade is cutting at. Now, both of these are battery powered circular saws, which I really like because it's easy to move them around and I don't have to worry about a cord. All I need to do is plug my battery into the back here. And then typically circular saws have a double engage switch, which means that in order to start it, I both need to push down this button and pull up on this button here, like that. Now, when it comes to attachments for the circular saw, Craig has some really amazing attachments that I use to help make it easier to cut down things like big full sheets of plywood. This is called the Rip Cut. I love Craig. Basically, your circular saw screws onto this piece here, and then you can adjust the width of your cut. It goes up to 24 inches. So if I wanted to cut a sheet of plywood down at 15 inches, I could adjust it here. This edge sits against the edge of my plywood, and then it allows me to make a straight, long cut. Let's make a test cut, and I'll show you how easy it is to use this tool. I'm gonna make a super basic straight cut on this plywood with my circular saw so that you can see how it works. And then if you don't have something like a rip cut, you can always just use a scrap piece of wood or a straight edge as a fence to guide your circular saw in a straight line. I'm just gonna set the edge of my circular saw up against this piece of plywood or this fence. And then one tip is that you never want to start your blade if it's on the material that you're going to be cutting. So I usually start about an inch behind the material that I'm going to be cutting, and then I'm just going to start my circular saw and very slowly move along this line. And that's how you use a circular saw. Follow for more woodworking and DIY tips. Bye!